Yo, what's poppin', people? Cobra Star Green back with you out in the video. That y'all first time finding my channel or anything like that for your boy. Please hit the subscribe button. Also the video. Yes, today I'll be doing a very anticipated review, anticipated project. You know, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. You know, Marvel has been on a little downward spiral. You know, Quantumanium. You know, Black Panther was good, but you got your Love and Thunder. You know, the movies. You know, Marvel kind of been down lately. So how will this one fare? I know this is a one that everyone's been looking forward to. So will this one be good or this one be bad? We will talk about it. And also, before I really get deep into it, as you guys did, if you guys didn't see the title, this one will be a full-on spoiler review. So if you guys do not want to be spoiled or anything like that, please take away, come back when you guys have seen the movie or whatnot. And you can watch this video. This video will always be on YouTube, you know. So, but like I said, it's gonna be a full-on spoiler review. And I am not alone for this review. I do have my co-host Emery. Emery, say what's up.
What's up? What's up?
Yep. So we have both seen the movie. We're both going to talk about it. So let's go ahead and cue the intro.
We got a problem. 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 It's probably you. Yeah. We got a problem. We got a problem. Yeah. We got a problem. We got a problem. We got a problem.
So yes, let's get right into it. Like I said, it's gonna be a spoiler review. But it has been a while. It's been a while since we've seen our Guardians of the Galaxy, man. It's been a while since Peter Quill messed up the entire universe. You know, so in this one, pretty much the Guardians are still saving the universe, but they're kind of low key with it now. They're just on nowhere chilling. But a new foe has popped up in this one, and he ends up injuring Rocket. Will Rocket be able to survive, or will Rocket die in this one? We're gonna talk about all that here and now. Now, like I just said, we're talking about Rocket. This, I will say out the gate, if you guys remember Infinity War, that was pretty much Thanos' story. This one, I feel like for the most part, is Rocket's story, man. In this one, not only does it center around Rocket, but it centers around Rocket's past. And I feel like that made the movie so good, in my opinion. How do you feel about it, Emery, about Rocket and his past?
Yeah, my favorite parts of the film, honestly, in terms of story, it's very gut-wrenching. It's dark. It's bleak, and it really shows why Rocket is the type of person he is, and why it's hard to kind of accept people in his life in general. Very much key to the movie and to the whole franchise is Rocket as a character. Yeah.
Yes, if you guys remember the first movie, pretty much Rocket was like alone. He didn't really want to like talk to anybody like that. He didn't want to get close to anybody like that. And I'm so glad in this movie it showcased why, because Rocket's past is dark, and it's crazy how they made me care about a raccoon so much. But like I said, his whole past, even with the High Evolutionary, his friends, it was just dark. And like I said, you go back to the first movie, and you're like, oh, this is why he's like this, because he doesn't want to lose anybody else. You know, I have a clip right here where I'm not gonna lie, in the movie, I was very emotional when I saw this particular scene right here.
I mean, 89Q12, it's not really a name. So, I would like my name to be...
You know, like those little scenes right there where he's talking to his old friends. Honestly, I really kind of started tearing up. I needed my box of tissues when I saw that. How'd you feel about those moments, Emery?
Yeah, it's not for the faint of heart. The animal cruelty in this is disturbing.
That's
to a lot
the
of people.
thing. Yeah, that's another thing. Like if you're a big animal person, oh, I know this will get to you badly. But keep going.
Yeah. There are people that I've already seen like who have done reviews. They're like, well, I don't know if I'll ever rewatch this one again or anytime soon, mainly because of how disturbing it is at a point. So yeah, it's kind of understandable, but it really kind of emphasizes how much of a villain the High Evolutionary is. And I think people sometimes discredit like, because recently we get a lot of sympathetic or understandable villains who are interesting and layered. And while High Evolutionary isn't exactly that, is definitely one of the more amazing villains because of like just how like messed up this person is and how like grotesque, what levels he'll take it to. So he's kind of simple, but a very very much effective villain. Sometimes the most simple is like the most rewarding.
Yeah, and if you guys don't know, the High Evolutionary, if you guys haven't seen the movie or anything like that, the High Evolutionary is this villain, and pretty much what he wants to do is create a perfect society, you know, but he keeps messing it up, and once he messes it up, he's like, well, shoot, I'm just going to end up starting over. Now, when I start over, I'm going to destroy what I've already built, so, like, countless families, people are just destroyed because he feels like they're imperfect. You know, like I have a clip right here where pretty much this kind of showcases his whole entire mission in the movie.
Trying to conquer the universe. I'm perfecting it.
Like that's all he wants to do is pretty much try to perfect the universe. But he doesn't realize how many people he's hurting in the process. I don't even think he cares about how many people he hurts in the process, honestly. But how did you feel as High Evolutionary as a villain? How did you rank him?
Yeah,
Henry?
so he's definitely. I think there's a little bit more substance, a tiny bit to Ego, but as an overall villain, as an overall package, the more entertaining and the more like actually fearful of like dreading kind of villain. High Evolutionary is the best of the three in this trilogy. Probably not one of the like top tier villains of the entire MCU or anything, but definitely like a second tier close. He's very menacing, very good, very powerful. Excellent performance from the actor. I don't know how to pronounce his name properly.
Yeah, I
he
but
really
I
like a
looked
very
up
solid
beforehand. I don't know how to
performance.
pronounce that either. But yeah, he was also in Peacemaker. You know, he works a lot with James Gunn, and we'll talk about James Gunn in just a minute too.
Yeah, he did a great job.
But yeah, he a phenomenal actor. I do have to say that I feel like to me he was one of the weakest parts of the film.
Yeah, if you had to point out a weaker part, yeah, probably.
Yeah, he was one of the weakest just because like I don't know, like I just couldn't really see his point of view too much. You know, I'm like Thanos, you can kind of get on with him. You're like, okay, you kill half the you know, so you kind of understand his plan. But like the High Evolutionary, it just seemed like his plan was just never working, and he was never trying to
Yeah.
adjust to it.
I
So
wouldn't argue with that too much. I guess like I think somebody described him as a uh, more torturous, more venomous kind of Thanos, where it's like Thanos is trying to help the greater good, but I think High Evolutionary is trying to perfect it and like construct it in a certain way. He's trying to be like very perfectionist. Like Rocket said, like he just doesn't like things the way they are. And so, like, it's not really that sympathetic of a goal if you think about it, because it basically is just him trying to fulfill his ego of
right,
constructing that kind of civilization. There's even a moment in the film where I think he gets really mad, like he gets really mad at Rocket for being
yes, yeah,
able to
he can
spot
shoot the
something.
whole entire movie.
Not
He's
only,
mad at
yeah,
Rocket.
it's more like he's impressed, but he's also very very much annoyed that like a creature that he sees as inferior is able
Is
to
able,
do
yeah, to
that,
keep up
spot
with
something
him.
that he wasn't able to. So
Yeah,
it's very much not much of a sympathetic villain in terms of this is a more selfish person as in comparison to Thanos, who is definitely selfish in a lot of ways, but it's less clear with Thanos.
right. Now, also, this is one of the Marvel villains that really can't fight like that. You know what I'm saying? He's a brain. He's
Yeah,
a brain guy. He's not a fighting guy. So whenever you see like him in his fighting scenes, they ain't the best. He 90% of the time he's getting his ass kicked. If we're being completely honest, especially towards the
well,
end, I was like,
he more so bullies and tortures his underlings. You're never gonna really see him in a fight until like a later scene. But
yeah, like towards the end when he was fighting Rocket, and that was easy. They got him out of there
Mhm.
quick. So like I said,
Yeah,
he's a brain guy. But I mean, I don't know where I'd rank him. I think I still like Ego and Ronan just a little bit better. But
yeah, I would say
he probably right there.
yeah, I would say I like him more than Ego and Roman overall. But I
Okay.
think Ego's a little bit more not sympathetic, but a little bit. He's got a little bit more charisma there. and there's something a little bit more extra with him being related to Peter so much. But High Evolutionary is also like the reason for Rocket's trauma and everything. So there's a lot
Right.
of like interesting like things from that too. So I think all three of these villains in the trilogy are like usually the weakest parts of this trilogy, and usually like they kind of are like the main antagonists. And the focus is more so on the heroes than anyone else, which is one of the kind of downgrades, kind of the negatives of this trilogy. All is that it
Hmm.
could be better, but I really like how they delivered each villain
No,
still in their own.
it's not that I just like the villain. I just don't think he was good
Sure, yeah,
as good as the rest. I still, you
yeah,
know what I'm
yeah.
saying? I never like didn't dislike him. But just really quickly before we get off, man, I just gotta say, like I said, my favorite part of the movie, man, just going back into Rocket's backstory and all that, man. Rocket was by far my favorite character in this movie. I freaking,
Oh, yeah.
I loved his backstory. I loved everything they did with him. I love that this movie actually centered around his character. And made me actually care, like I said, care about a freaking raccoon. But let's talk about some
Yeah.
other characters really quickly, because it just ain't one Guardians of the Galaxy. There's a bunch of them. And we'll go very quickly because there's just so many of them. You could spend like the whole entire movie talking about these people. First thing we'll talk about.
Yeah.
This guy, to me, it's sad to see that he's actually leaving the Marvel universe. But I gotta talk about Dave Bautista, man, as Drax first. I freaking love this dude, man. I feel like his comedic timing is just getting better and better, especially in this movie. Like, this dude really had me busting out. Like, I'm over here tearing up, but I'm busting out laughing at Rocket. I mean, not Rocket. Drax the whole entire movie. Like, this dude is funny, man. Go ahead.
Maybe it's James Gunn's, like, maybe I'm just
Direction
fit for James
and
Gunn's
his
sense of humor,
directing.
but like the jokes per minute, not just with like Drax, but like every character, most characters, I'm just like, damn, like it's just like I'm getting a lot of laughs, even a lot of little chuckles here or there. Very consistent. Drax especially is just like I think one of the things I want to pinpoint is that it does seem like the main criticism of Volume 2 for Drax's characterization is that he's too much of a joke, and they do kind of build upon that a
Okay.
little bit here, and they like introduce more of the caretaker role for him. Like he was born to be a dad, not a destroyer.
Right. Yeah, I love that part in the movie, man. It happens in third
It's
act.
very-
I freaking loved it. Yeah, I've seen those same criticisms. Like people, Drax straight a joke. He's straight a joke. Watch this movie and see, like, is he a joke anymore? No.
Also, I feel like one thing that people may have like noted before, especially in something like Infinity War, where it feels like he gets a little bit of a backseat in terms of when fighting Thanos or something like that, is they show how strong he is a lot more in this movie than I think in any other movie. When he's fighting like Adam Warlock, or he's fighting in the hallway scene, we'll get to the hallway scene later, but like he's impressive. Like his fighting
Oh,
capabilities,
yes,
and how
yeah.
strong he actually is very impressive, and they really display it here in Volume 3.
No, man. Dave Bautista's Drax, like I said, he's one of those guys I really don't want to see leave the Marvel universe. Just because
Yeah,
I
neither-
freaking love Drax a lot.
Yeah, I like him a lot. It's too bad to see him go, but yeah.
I know, I'm freaking sad. Now, next thing we're gonna talk about is he just played in Mario, but he's been our Star-Lord. We're talking about Chris Pratt, man. To me, I'm gonna just get this out the way. I feel like every character was written a lot better in this movie than they have in previous films. But and the development was a lot better. But I think, like, especially with Chris Pratt, I just thought his character was phenomenal in this movie. Peter Quill, I thought he was way better in this movie. How do you feel about Peter Quill?
Yeah, I'm gonna do a 2-for-1 a little bit, but mainly focus on Star-Lord since we're focused on Star-Lord's.
Yeah.
One of the things I'd like to note is that, like, I really like that they established that like Star-Lord is not handling the loss of like Gamora. Very well
Yes,
at all.
and I love that they established that early.
and
you know,
and they
he-
established that like I hate the criticism I've seen that a lot of people say, and that I've never really understood, is that people would be like, well, like the stakes are not really real because like someone like Gamora is just brought back to life because alternate version. But it's like that you guys fail to realize that that's not the same Gamora. That's
Yeah,
not the same.
that's 2014 Gamora. She
Yeah.
was still with Thanos type of Gamora.
Yeah, Volume 3 very much displays that. Like,
Yes,
yeah,
they do it.
this
I was
isn't
going to
just
talk
a
about that when we
quick-
talk about Gamora, but yeah, they do it perfectly.
it would have been unjustified to do a quick fix and have them get together by the end. And I'm super glad they didn't, because it's just that's not how it works. And I very much appreciate that they not only really established that, but they like also it also felt like Star-Lord was like having to really come to terms with that as well, like really understand that throughout the film.
Right. No, man, I was gonna get on Gamora next, but yeah, how they have him still deal with the loss of Gamora. Think about it, Gamora. We all know Gamora still ain't dead, but still throughout this movie, he's like, "Look, Gamora, you don't remember none of this," like, and then like he's trying to fight that throughout the entire movie, and I freaking love that from his character. You know,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, it also seems like James Gunn it's kind of like a fourth break wall a little bit, like a little very subtle when Peter's talking about like, well, why did she survive when all the other like people in the army got dusted? I don't know, some infinity magic
Come
or
on,
something.
yeah, come on, ain't nobody.
Yeah, little nods like that where it's like
No, that was
Gunn's-
James Gunn. That was like, you better give me my goddamn Gamora back, shit.
James Gunn's just like, I don't know why they did this. I don't know why it works this way. I'm dealt with the cards I have, and yeah, I'm gonna make it work to my favor.
Yeah, but I thought they did a great job of working around it,
Yeah.
though.
Well, I think in retrospect, it's like, well, Infinity War like gave them this problem to work around, and it's actually, to me, it made this movie so much more like dark and rewarding, and kind of like okay, like there's a lot more at play than like like there is a loss there. There is a person that is there that is supposed to be that person, but is not really that person, and so there's a lot more complicated feelings, and I like that, as opposed to like if Gamora had survived, I'm not sure what they would do. I mean, probably something cool still, but
Right. Yeah. And then let's go and get to the next person. Next person we're talking about, like I said, we're talking about Zoe. Shoot, Gamora. Let's talk about it. She announced that this is the last time she'll ever be playing Gamora, which I think is a really good send off for her character. But man, here in this movie, just how different she is than especially the last movie, because the last movie she's like really emotional a lot, and this one she's just freaking heartless. Like they're going into places, they're breaking into places, and she's like, "I will blow this chick's head off." I'm like, okay, yeah, that's definitely that 2014 Gamora. That ain't the Gamora we know anymore. But yeah, I thought her, and even like her kind of her range a little bit, I just thought really showcased well in this movie. I thought performance wise, she did a great job here. How do you feel about her?
It definitely feels like the daughter of Thanos.
Yes, that's a great way to put it. She felt like the daughter of Thanos in this movie.
Very much like early Volume 1, like Gamora, just like
she even looks different.
Interested, trying to get out. Yeah, she looks very much distinctly different.
Yes,
staying with the Ravagers. Also, like, kind of implied that, like, going back to the Ravagers, that is kind of like her family by this point. Like, yeah. I like that.
No, Gamora, man, she definitely did a great job. I like it. I wish these characters, people would just stay back in Marvel, but we up out of here. But yeah, Gamora, she'll be gone. Now there's two more characters I really want to talk about really quickly, and we'll talk about like some others, but not too deep. I want to talk about a character that we haven't really talked about too much. I'm not gonna lie, we haven't said too much about this character ever. I don't even think anybody's like ever really given this person the credit that they actually truly deserve. And I think in this movie, she really shined in this one. If you guys don't know exactly who I'm talking about Nebula, man, the girl right here on the right. I really thought, played by Karen Gillian, I think is how you say her last name.
Karen Gillian, yeah.
I gotta say, man, I've never really cared about Nebula that much as a character, but in this one, how they wrote her, I was like very emotionally attached to her character in this movie. Like I've never been that way with her in any other project she's ever been in, and that's just big kudos to the way James Gunn wrote her character. Man, this I don't know how you truly feel about how they did her character in this movie, but to me, it just really felt like whenever I say like all these characters, I feel like they've read a lot of characters a lot better. She's mainly the one I'm talking about. There's more depth to her character. There's more there's more emotion. There's more range. There's more everything with her character. Everything that was like kind of bottled up in the last couple of movies is just out now. You know, you finally see her as a character. She finally has personality. She's not just somebody that just wants to kill people and like a damn machine. Like, no, she has feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, she has personality in this one. Go ahead.
I guess what I would say to that general feeling is that like the other movies, like Volume 1, I guess Volume 2, Endgame. Well, not Endgame, because Endgame felt much more like that first starting growth of like really being part of a team or part of a family, especially with Rocket when she consoles Rocket. But yeah, like she was very much cold and detached and like obviously like hurt by Gamora and kind of like out for revenge. So there's very much a lack of like being able to empathize or sympathize with her. It's a lot harder to do that. As I could make the argument like in a way for Gamora in this film where she's a lot more cold and detached from like the rest of the group. So when you see Nebula in Volume 3 or in the Christmas episode,
I still haven't seen that Christmas thing. I gotta watch that.
She's very much a lot more warm and feels a lot more comfortable and part of a family. But it still feels like Nebula generally. It still feels like a person who like grew up as the daughter of Thanos. Very much has like her own little trauma that she's dealt with and stuff like that. And it's very interesting. Her character's so well done here. A lot more easy to reach and be able to like really enjoy as a character in this one than in any other previous projects.
No, most definitely. Mm-hmm. Now, really quickly before we talk about everything else, I know we've been spending a lot of time on these characters. This is so much. Just get really quickly, Groot, really quickly out the way. This is the movie where I really felt like I heard Vin Diesel as Groot. Like they gave him, I know he's like, I am Groot, but then later on he kind of changed it up. He said like, what? He said, we are family or something? Or something like that.
Well, I love you guys, something like that.
Yeah, I love you guys. That's what he said, I love you guys. And I was like, damn, that sounds like Vin Diesel.
One thing I want to note is the design is not bad, but it's my least favorite design.
Yeah,
but when he goes like full monster, and especially in the end credit scene, and that design, oh my gosh, that design is like almost straight from the comics. They're so good. It's so good. So when he does that, it's like the best design. Oh, in the moment where he gets like all four arms and he starts just like, like I still really like Groot. Groot's great.
Oh yeah, mine too. But like throughout the movie, I was kind of like, the design kind of looks weird. But
yeah, it's a little weird. That's off-putting as a comparison to other ones, but.
But I guess you just kind of. I guess after a while, you just kind of get used to it. But
it looks. I'll say this: it looks very real in comparison to like a lot of other movies and their CGI characters.
Yeah, I guess that's true. Now, the last character we're gonna talk about, and we'll move on to other things. We're gonna talk about the boy, Will. I forgot to say his last name, but Will.
Will Poulter.
Huh?
Will Poulter, right?
Will Poulter, yeah. He plays Adam Warlock in this one. Now, I'm not gonna lie. When I first heard that he was playing Adam Warlock in the casting, I was like, I'm not feeling this at all. I'm like, first of all, his face is way too recognizable. And I was like, I just don't think he'll fit this character that well. But I'm not gonna lie, when I saw the movie, he kind of surprised me a little bit. Now, I might show you guys a clip right here. But he really showcased, especially in this clip, of how much of a badass Adam Warlock actually is. I mean, it's not this one. I mean, he gets his butt kicked in this one, but you guys know he throws people across the freaking room and things in that nature. But you can kind of really see just like how OP Adam Warlock is, and if he was around when Thanos was there, I wonder how that would have all shooken out. But like here's kind of a clip right here. You know what I'm saying? He just beating. He pretty much beat everybody up, pretty much. Like they had it like legitimately gang up on him to actually get him out of there. William Butcher. I mean, Bolter. Is that his last name?
Will Poulter, yeah.
Poulter. Man, how he played, like I said, how he played as Adam Warlock. He even had like a little accent to him. I really thought he did a really great job. You know, just not even like that this character is like intelligent or anything like that. Like he's freaking a kid. Like, and they even said early on, like, yo, y'all got him out that cocoon way too early. So he you know what I'm saying, he hasn't had time to develop or, you know, freaking, I guess what you could say is get a brain. You know what I'm saying? He's had this time, after this movie, he's like, oh, what's that? You know, he's a kid. And I actually liked how he played Adam Warlock in this movie. How'd you feel about Adam Warlock?
Yeah, so he's distinctly different. A lot of people who like the comics are going to complain about how he's portrayed here. Um, I really like him for this movie. I don't know the comic version very well, so maybe that's my like kind of bias showing in terms of like I can't really be as mad, but I can understand if people don't like this interpretation very well. But for this movie, I think they would even agree. Like for the goals of this movie, like it's very well done in terms of like what they're aiming for the character. It's very much like a kid who's like learning
Right.
about reality as he goes around. He's a little bit played for comedic effect more than I think I'm comfortable with. It did feel like I did like his opening action sequence, and I did like he was the reason like why they're in the pickle that they're in. Like he showed his strength, like put Rocket in that situation. Drax put up a very good fight against Drax, stuff like that. Yeah, um, definitely the weaker point of the weaker character of the film. If I had to like be a little picky about it.
Hmm.
But still, like, there's room for improvement. I'm very much excited to see more from the character in the future. I think Will Poulter did a really excellent job with what he was given. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I honestly, it makes me kind of want more from his character because in the movie he ends up joining the new Guardians of the Galaxy with Rocket and all them.
Yeah.
But yeah, it kind of makes me want like my own little spinoff just with him, just to go see what
Yeah.
he'll do by himself. You know,
Yeah.
that's what I want.
I'd be interested in that.
Yeah,
But yeah.
just like a little Disney, you know what I'm saying, little Disney show where he's just off doing his own little thing. That's what I want. But yeah, I was like, because I was probably the biggest person like this is not gonna work for Adam Warlock, and I was
Yeah.
like,
There's,
go ahead.
yeah. There was people that like like in the Infinity War storyline for the comics, Adam Warlock is a central key player in that. So a
Yeah,
lot of people really wanted this character in Infinity War, and obviously like we can't put in like 20 billion characters, so we already had like a whole stack cast. So obviously you have to hold off on Adam Warlock, um, not for Infinity War, but for like Volume 3. And I think for like Volume 3 and the goals that they wanted to do, this is very much a well delivered character for James Gunn's vision.
yeah. So I know we just spent like 20 minutes talking about characters, so we're gonna move on. We're gonna talk about like just everything else with this film. And I'll just say this movie. I remember watching the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and I was like, God damn, that movie, especially towards the end, had me emotional. It had me emotional. You know, I needed my tissues. But for this one, I feel like this whole entire movie was emotional. Man, ever since Rocket gets injured, from that point forward, it just gets emotional. Like very, very, very heartwarming, very touching.
Yeah.
And like I said, I put in my thing online. I was like, man, I need me a box of tissues throughout this entire movie. And James Gunn does a great job, especially with the tone and fitting the tone, at just doing a great mixture of, yeah, he throws his comedy in there because it's gonna be James Gunn, but he also knows how to get serious at the same
Well,
time.
even before Adam Warlock comes in and like really uh, starts the havoc with like Rocket being like put into a coma, life-ending coma possibly. Before that happened, like it was pretty somber. It was kind of like you know emotional because it starts with like Rock, and I love the sequence. It just starts with Rocket walking around and then like just
Right.
like
I love that opening
some
scene.
of
I
it,
love that.
some of it's like a little humorous, but then like you're seeing like Star Lord in distress, drunk, clearly just stricken with grief. Nebula's like, well, like I gotta put him to bed. Like this, this is a routine thing, stuff like
Hmm.
that. Very much like key that to show that these characters like are dealing with like their own like personal struggles. Yeah.
No, but like I said before, man, this movie is I think this is one of the sadder Marvel films. I felt like, just like, man, I know you have perfect scenes right here where I show like Star-Lord seeing Rocket die right here in front of him, even though he comes back to life and stuff like that. But Just yeah, this movie it attached to me, man. I man truly fell in love with just not only the script but the characters. You know, the heart that this displayed in this movie, man. It truly blew me away. We'll give our little last thoughts on this one, and then we'll get up out of here. Really quickly, I want to say, to me, this might be a little hot take, but personally to me, I feel like this is one of the best written Marvel projects that is out there. To me, this is the best written project since Infinity War. Now, when I say that, people don't know what the heck I mean by that. I don't mean best movie since Infinity War. I mean best written movie since Infinity War. And I stand on that when I say that. This is why, and we didn't really talk about them too much, but this is why, let me pull them up really quickly, that I always say, and I will always support this man 100%, James Gunn is the freaking GOAT. This is why I'll always say that, man. I every time he's either writing something or directing something, I'll always watch it because of James Gunn. And this, watching Guardians, has me so happy to see what he does with this new DCEU, and especially happy to see what he does with the new Superman movie. You know, just watching this film, I'm sitting here watching Guardians 3, and I'm like, man, I cannot wait for Superman to come out, because I know James Gunn's gonna kill it.
The concern I've seen is that people are like, oh man, Superman's gonna be super jokey and blah blah blah. And it's like,
no, he's gonna be serious.
James Gunn's already stated, like, no, that's not the goal. Like, I'm going to approach Superman with a level of maturity that needs to be taken seriously, but it needs to feel light. It needs to feel like Superman, like the most hopeful character in all of like superheroes, like DC. Right. Yeah. The thing is, I think this movie, I don't know if I like this more than Infinity War or not. I'm fighting for that top spot. Maybe because I'm biased, because I already loved Rocket as a character. But yeah, Rocket was my number 3 character of like top 3 characters. Now he's my number 1 after this movie. He's such a really interesting, rich character, and I really love like the emotional journey this character goes on, and I love him. He's a great character. And then I also am just super psyched to see James Gunn work on like not only just Superman but just the rest of DC. It is showing me that like he cares like about the creative and I'm more excited for DC than I am Marvel because I
me
know
too.
He cares. Yeah, and so this is really exciting times. I don't think people understand like how exciting this is. Like it's like holy shit, we got somebody who gives like I care. Yeah, I don't know.
No, man, James Gunn, like I said, I'll tell him about some movie critic friends after the movie. I was just like, man, this movie has me. Just watching that has me so excited to see what he's doing with the DCEU. Because I know watching that he's gonna fix it easily. He's gonna fix it.
The way this is shot, the IMAX potential. Yeah, see this on an IMAX screen.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah, this is definitely want to see an IMAX.
The hallway fight scene is incredible.
Yeah, we didn't even give him that. We only give him the action really quick. We'll give him the action real quickly, man.
We'll just
I think the action. I don't think it was. I'm kind of like here and there on the action. I feel like there were some parts where I thought were really cool, and then some parts are like, this is meh. But it didn't bother me or take me out the movie.
Yeah. Well, any moments where I was like, it's like more so like more than made up for it with that hallway sequence.
Right.
It's just so good. And then I like that this movie, it felt like out of the whole trilogy, this feels like James Gunn's baby more than the Marvel's baby.
Oh,
it
yeah.
actually feels his vision, his movie. It really it doesn't go past the PG-13 line. It hits on that edge.
Yeah, especially them, bro. This is the first movie that really started cussing.
Yeah, there's blood. There's a lot more blood, which isn't necessary, obviously, but it's nice to see because it feels like lived. It feels a little bit more real. Like the stakes feel like more palpable. There's a little bit of body horror that people are not going to be super psyched on. So for some people, it may be a little bit too much. But yeah, I love it. It felt like James Gunn's vision. I'm glad he ended it this way. If I never get a Guardians movie after this, I'll be okay. Obviously, I'd still want to see these characters, but if
I don't.
this was the
I'll just say
finale,
this: I don't want to see another
yeah,
Guardians movie of James Gunn that has nothing to do with it. I don't. I don't want. I don't
yeah,
want that.
you would need you would need someone that not only I've seen with an incredible filmography, but James Gunn's personal like a-okay. Like
Yeah.
James Gunn, like,
Nah.
yeah, I trust this dude to deliver a good Guardians film. Yeah,
I don't want to see
you need
anybody else
that.
but James Gunn do this.
Yeah.
But go ahead. Give your rating.
So off of first watch, I'm gonna do some rewatches. Maybe this will change, but probably we'll see. Subjective feeling, my subjective rating is about a 10 out of 10, and then my objective rating feels closer to like a 9. So yeah, great watch. Highly recommend in IMAX, especially.
Oh yeah. So if I'm going into my rating, because you just gave it a 10 out of 10, I'll just say this, man. I'm up there with you. I'm right up there with you, man. This movie did some things to me. Marvel projects ain't done to me in a minute. You know, I have not been this emotionally attached to a freaking movie. Walked out the movie, especially a Marvel project, and was like, I can't believe I just saw that. I can't believe how truly amazing this film was.
I'll say this. Volume 2 hit me a little bit more emotionally with certain scenes like Yondu's funeral, but I think this was the more consistently emotional. And like if it had delivered on some things that people speculated about, then like I think this would have crushed me emotionally. But I'm glad it ended the way it did because I want the best for these characters. I really grew attached to these characters.
Yeah, man. But going into it, man, I'll just say this one. This movie to me, how it was written, the plot, everything was just so focused. Everything was so tight. You know, you see these projects where they got their plot, but they'll kind of like differentiate. They'll kind of go other places. No, this one just stuck to it, and I freaking love the film for that, man. It was so sincere to the fans. And I'll just say this off rip. This was a great send-off to our Guardians of the Galaxy. I think this was amazing. I think everybody beforehand, before they saw the movie, everybody was like, "Oh my God, who's gonna die? Who's gonna die? Is it gonna be? It's gonna be Drax because he's leaving. Oh no, it's gonna be Rocket. Or Gamora. Who's gonna die?" Like, I'll just watch the movie. And I mean, it's a spoiler review. No one ended up dying. Everybody's good, unless you want to talk about the High Evolutionary. Then he was out of there. But yeah, man, they did a great job. Also, if say a character actually wanted to come back, say Dave Bautista was like, maybe I do want to come back for one more, they could easily just bring him back now. He's not dead.
Yeah.
Or if anybody else.
Baby Rocket, they better sell toys because that's so much cuter than Baby Groot to me. Oh my God, little baby, dude. This movie, it crushed me. Like I was like, dude, you didn't have to do that to the little otter. Oh man.
But if I go ahead and I give my rating real quick, like I said, man, I'm definitely right up there with you. The only thing I just felt flat, the only thing I just had a disagreement on was just the villain, the High Evolutionary. But I still did not fully dislike this guy. There's a lot of things I like, man. Like I said, the story was tight. One of the most emotional projects I've seen from Marvel. The heart was there, man. Man, like I said, throughout the movie, I was tearing up a little bit. I'm not scared to say that. You know what I'm saying? I was. That's just how attached I was to these characters and just see how they were going through. I'm going to give this movie a straight up, hey, look, 10 out of 10. This is up there, man. I think it's a little better, or maybe right there with the Black Panther flick. I just don't really feel like I know which one's better in my opinion. Because I gave both of them 10 out of 10s. But yes, this to me is. Yeah, this deserves a 10 out of 10. And I kind of talk about something really quickly, really quickly before we get up out of here. Man, they've been showcasing this character for the last 2 movies, and they finally did something with them in this one. Let me see if I can find it really, really quickly. I know he's around here somewhere, or she is around here somewhere. Man, let's talk about it, man. Cosmo the dog was actually helping out in this one. Man, how freaking cool is that? I'm like, yo, Cosmo's not just sitting here doing nothing. She's talking and she's doing something. She's helping out. She was a big reason in the third act of why they actually all survived. You know, she was the
Yeah.
one that was helping with transporting the kids from one ship to another. Hey, James Gunn, I was gonna give you a 10 out of 10 just off of that. You actually using Cosmo the dog a lot, and there was even Howard the Duck in the movie too,
Yeah.
but he didn't really do too much.
I would love to see the team that's structured by the end. Like, I would love to see a movie with them if like they got the right person for it.
And then Seth Green was playing Howard the Duck,
yeah,
right? That's Seth Green.
Seth Green.
I feel
Oh
like-
yeah, he does Howard the Duck's voice. Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh shoot, we lost it.
Yeah,
But that's what I was thinking. I was like, I think Howard the Duck, or he plays Howard the Duck. But
Yeah. I would love to. Yeah. See Howard the Duck or something like that as a TV special or something.
yeah, but man, Cosmo, man, James, you blew me away with that because I never thought they were gonna use
Yeah.
this character. I just seen him in the last, I seen her in the last two movies, and I'm like, they're gonna do nothing with this. But to actually showcase, like, yo, no, we got you guys. No, and she, like I said,
Yeah.
she played such a key part in the movie. I loved it.
Kraglin got a like cute little like arc too or whatever with the dog, and it was very very wholesome. Just like a little side addition of like, this is what these characters are doing, and it's not very important, but it's cute. I
Yeah,
like
no, did an amazing job. I was gonna talk about Sean Gunn, James Gunn's brother, but
Mhm.
he ain't really gotta go too deep into him. He's just
He's
kind of
fine. He
yeah,
did
he's
it. He did his
fine.
job.
Yeah,
I like the little Yondu nod. It wasn't super necessary, but it was nice. It was a cute little arc.
yeah. I'm not truly mad, but yeah, as you guys see, we both gave the movie a 10 out of 10. So if you guys are watching this review, you might have already seen it, or you might not have seen it. And I want to know you guys' thoughts on this down below. What was your rating of the film? How did you guys feel out the film was? Like I said, we both gave it 10 out of 10. That means A pluses. But I want to know how you guys feel about it, man. If it's your first time finding our channel, hit the subscribe button. Also the video. Tell me your guys' thoughts, complaint, criticism, stuff like that down below. And hey, we will see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.